For gym owners who can't figure out and organize their time, who are just putting out fires when they wake up, they know they need to go to the studio, but they really don't know how to organize their time or their manager's time or their general manager's time or their regional manager's time, this video is for you. I'm going to show you the 4 pillars of operation, a framework that I use for my studios, my leadership teams, to keep everybody organized, to identify where the problems truly were, and to ensure that we were on a pathway to success. And this was a huge asset to getting my studios to 100K per month in monthly recurring revenue. So I hope you utilize this, you take this and you apply it and see a massive change, and you're no longer feeling like you have to put out every fire, but understanding where fires are coming from, how to attack them, and make sure they never happen again. Now, quick story. Early in my career, before I was an operator, I had a general manager position at a big box franchise. And I was in my early 20s at the time, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew how to sell memberships. I knew how to grow personal training revenue, but I didn't really know how to operate a gym. And the chief operating officer at the time gave me this framework. He gave it to me. And he said, as long as you follow these things, you should be all set, because they cover all these different things. And so once I utilized this, not only did our gym perform better, my time was brought back to me a little bit more. I wasn't working 12, 14-hour days. I wasn't stressed about hiring or replacing people or getting membership sales. I knew what I had to attack, and I knew because I understood the 4 pillars. So let me break them down to you. First one is you need to crush your metrics, okay? You need to crush. You don't need to hit the target. You need to crush. You need to go over the target, okay? If you're required to have 50 new membership sales this month, your target should totally be 60 and not 50, right? You want to crush. You want to make sure you absolutely dominate those numbers, okay? If you're crushing your metrics, guess what? You're growing as a studio. Second pillar. Organization, okay? Organization, and me personally, I'll put this in a comma, as communication, okay? You need to make sure that you're organized as an owner, that the studio is organized in their processes, that things are being done appropriately and how they're supposed to be done, right? If you're using MindBody and there's supposed to be contact logs put on there, making sure that that's taken care of. If that's not being done on a consistent basis, then you need to look at your communication, the way you have everything organized, and ensure that that process is followed through, right? It's either the process is not doing its job or the person's not doing their job. But it's really understanding that having some form of organization in clear communication and what processes need to be done, how things are organized, set up, and success for you. You can't lose track of everything. The metrics are organized. The KPIs are set up for success. You can't go anywhere without being able to track where you're going. So having the organization set up is key. And if you're not organized, you're going to get screwed. Okay? Number 3. And I'll just say this. It blows my mind how many gym owners I talk to when I ask them for their percentages in terms of closing percentages, lead to close, or how many leads they're getting a week, what their attrition is. They can't give me all these numbers, and it blows my mind. And if you are watching this as a gym owner and you don't know these numbers, dude, know these numbers. You've got to know these numbers. If you don't know these numbers, you can't predict where your business is going and how to improve on anything. So making sure you do that. In my program at Rise of Innovations, we take on gym owners to help them install these processes, give them all the information they need to grow and scale their businesses to 100K per month. And organization is such a key element in what we talk about in our program. So if you don't know your metrics and you don't know your numbers, get that shit identified, okay? Number 3. Motivation, okay? You need to be motivated, and your team needs to be motivated. You need to be waking up every day fucking pumped and ready to go. Is that a human behavior? Is that natural? No, we all wake up with the blues sometimes. It happens. but you need to create some form of high level energy, right? Motivation isn't necessarily sustainable, but think of it more as like the nitric oxide in a car, right? When you push you see in the Fast and Furious movies, they push the button, they fucking fly off. That's literally what motivation is. It's that little extra burst that you could add into your day for yourself or for your teams to perform at a higher level. Figure out what that is. Maybe you do an incentive for the day. One of my favorite things I would do with my personal trainers is I would put $100 bill on the wall in the back room and say, guys, the PT who gets the most sales by the end of today is going to get the $100 cash. And they would have fun with it, and they would sell a little bit more because they were incentivized by $100 bill. Okay, motivation. Finally, development. If you yourself are not developing as an owner and becoming better and smarter and more knowledgeable and sharpening your tools, you can never, ever, ever grow your business. And then you to expect people who work for you to then grow themselves when you are not developing yourself is crazy. Development for yourself then in return helps develop your team. So if you are not focused on reading books, if you're watching this video, guess what? You're taking that first step, and I'm proud of you for doing that because not many people do. But if you're not going on YouTube, if you're not reading books, listening to podcasts, finding ways to educate yourself so that you can become the best version of who you are as an owner, as a leader, none of this matters. You're never going to crush your metrics. You're not going to be organized. You won't find the motivation because you don't know how to find the motivation. And if you're not developing yourself, then you can't develop your team. And you need to be able to develop your team because if you want your team to go to the higher levels and you want your people to get promoted and you want to scale and you want to buy more studios, you want to do big things with your business, you have to have some form of development involved, right? And that's why my company Rise Up Innovations exists, because we develop gym owners to be elite, to take them to the next level, because they all have the potential, right? The people that we bring into the program 100% have the potential. They just don't have the strategies to do so. So the 4 pillars of operation: 1, crush your metrics; 2, stay organized, have an organization, clear line of communication; 3, have some form of motivation for yourself and your team; and then 4, develop yourself and your team consistently. I guarantee you that if you do an audit and you ask yourself, are any of these a problem right now? 1 out of 4 is going to be a problem at the very least. There's always one of these that's off, right? Because if you're crushing your metrics and everything is organized and everyone seems motivated, great opportunity to get some more development in, right? But if you're developing yourself and you are organized and you're motivated, but you're not crushing your metrics, then we might need to go back to organization to see where things are at. How can we make sure that we're crushing our metrics? Every one of these plays a part in themselves for success. So when you're looking at your day, you're looking at your numbers, you're looking at your goals, you're looking at what you're trying to do, bam, here's your audit, okay? The 4 pillars of operation. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do and you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.